You think say you sabi Naija music? Old school or new school? Come show yourself for Gusto Gets the Song. You go win better. Call the number wey dey appear for your screen so. Naija music come win money.
Hello guys, welcome to Gusto Reactions once again. Thank you so much for always liking, sharing, subscribing, telling your friends about what we do right at Gusto TV. Please, before we continue, please call your friends, get your phones, if you're watching this for the first time, like this channel, like this video, subscribe, do everything you can, comment as well, do everything. We love to read your comments so much, and I'm sure there's some days I will say, see your guy don't send something. I mean, we love your comments, we love you guys. We truly appreciate every one of you, both new and existing subscribers. Thank you guys so much for supporting. We've got DAVIDO OBO right up in the building, as well as Starboy himself, WIZKID. Now, this is not a versus at all. We already know that when it comes to music, these two guys are one of the front runners in the game. And DAVIDO last year released the ABT the album, and as well WIZKID released Made in Lagos. But are you surprised that one album is doing way better than the other one?
I would say I'm surprised because the records are there when we had albums of the year discussions. I personally picked the DAVID album over Made in Lagos, but time has been the difference. It's proven Made in Lagos to be a more successful album than a better time. So there's no arguments about that at all. Made in Lagos is more successful.
Okay, the last time you talked about DAVIDO's album here when we reviewed, you said, oh, this album, it's an album of hits.
Yes.
And for you think, it's quite good. WIZKID has some sort of foreign sound and everything. And what made you think a lot of Nigerians, what do you think about them tilting towards the hit album than the foreign sound album?
Well, it depends. It depends. Yeah, it depends. Nigeria loves. There's a reason why a lot of people want to do Afro pop or switch from different genres of music. Unlike now, when we now have different people who are sticking to their lanes and doing their things. But at one point, everybody has to have an Afro pop record, a hit record, because that's the only way you can measure hits. Played in clubs, played on radio, jammed everywhere. So that's what people are after. At the time, to your question about why are people gyrating, it's just because that's how Nigerians are from time. A lot of other artists have now shown that, okay, fine, I don't necessarily have to do a hit Afro pop hit sort of album or record for you to jam me. We're seeing, like people have mentioned severely and said, oh, there are much more lower tempo songs that are becoming hits in Nigeria. You don't have to necessarily now do your fast pace and things like that to actually become a huge and successful star in Nigeria. So the landscape has changed a lot, and people are now being themselves and being successful at it.
Okay, but Lala, in one answer, one word only.
Don't put me on the spot now.
Who would you say? With the plethora of albums that came out last year in 2020, streaming numbers, video views numbers, awards here and there and everything. Who would you say in terms of albums, was the most successful Nigerian artist from 2020?
Timeline 2020. Burna Boy.
Okay, from 2020.
Burna Boy
till now.
From 2020 till now?
Yeah, like from that era of
that's why I asked you that.
Okay.
If you are saying 2020, end it at December 2020.
No. From that era of album that came out in August, September, October, and everything. Till now.
Is undoubtedly WIZKID.
WIZKID.
Yes.
Okay. There's been a comment.
Yeah.
Tiwa Savage, ex husband, came up with a comment that is deleted right now. And it said, if not for the COVID, pandemic. I don't think any African artist would have touched my in-law. Just got to cut 70% of the yes man around you, broski. On God bless him. Now, he's talking solely about Davido right here, saying if not for the pandemic, he doesn't think any African artist would be able to touch Davido. Now, do you think this statement is right? And if you think it's wrong, why is it wrong?
Well, the statement already has a lot of biases in there. I'm going to tell you, from the way I see it, the first bias, he said, my in-law. Jam and Imade, they are cool, they're best of friends. They already set those two of them up to be future partners, if you don't know. Because those guys are best of friends. So that's first bias. Second bias, this guy does not like WIZKID anymore. You know why? Remember the Tiwa Savage and WIZKID time when they were newly separated? Yeah. Tiwa was vibing with WIZ. WIZ was hitting Yash. There was rumor that Tiwa and WIZ were an item.
They even came to throw it in his own face at that time.
And then he came out and like, he trusts WIZ.
He trusts WIZ.
WIZ, I don't go. That thing campaign. It campaigned and it really pained him. The guy was losing his mind back then. That's the second bias. That's where it's coming from. And there's no way he's going to come out and openly support WIZKID that he knows he doesn't like for whatever happened between him and Tiwa Savage. He doesn't like him for that. So that's where this statement is coming from.
Is this coming up of the success of Essence at the moment? The whole Essence way.
Of course now.
And of course, is this like a reaction to Essence?
Of course, it's a reaction. And when you don't like somebody and the person is having a time of his life and being successful, you go be like, now it's natural for you to be like, waiting the thing where they do self. So in as much as he wants to support Davido, he came out wrongly because the statement is false, because the same way the pandemic affected everybody, including Davido and his other guys, David Bonner, and to also cut it short, WIZ didn't also release an album until much later. When he dropped an album, David also dropped an album. Yeah. So the same way the pandemic affected a lot of people, you can't claim it only affected David. So
okay, now people have been responding to this statement. Yeah. He's now deleted, this, and everyone is still talking about this. He mentioned something else again, saying he has to cut off 70% of the yes men around him and all of that. This statement, I don't know, we've said it over and over again about the guys around Davido and everything. If you're saying that the pandemic affected him and that he has to cut the yes men around him, is that not confusing people?
TBZ also because I don't know whether he was in the right state of mind when he posted this, because if you are, you always have to consider the consequences of what you're about to do, how it's going to affect the person you're supporting and things like that. Is he going to put them in the right standing? You always have to consider that. If you're not in the right state of mind, you would always, anything that comes to your head, you would easily put it up. Post, So I don't know, TBOs, I don't know. I don't want to say things I don't want to say, but
because it seems to be saying this is a cause of why David didn't do much more than a WIZ or a Bonner or something. False. And then he's also saying this is the reason why
I get what he's saying. See, people have said this on time and time again.
He's right here. He's wrong here. Yeah. He could be right here.
Maybe because people have said this severally about David and his gang. But then if you think about it, he made it this far with his supposedly yes men with him, right? But people are now saying, okay, you need to cut off some of these your yes men around you. They're not advising you well. I think the language should be the guys around him need to do more for David, in as much as he's doing more for himself and doing for them as well. Yeah. They need to come correct for him. We've come here, we've been critical about the rollout for ABT, the sort of interviews, how they didn't make sure the interview was centered around the album, it was centered about something else. I think we've thought, people have a lot to say about how Asa is not giving the best, or maybe he's not giving the best of the best for him and things like that. It can happen because right now they're not having the best of times. Yeah, so it's not standard for people to be like, there's yes men around David, but it's just like they just need to tax them to do more. I think that's what the language should be.
Okay, so finally, Lala, do you think the Davido 30BG crew should run with this agenda of if not for COVID, if not for the pandemic,
No, I don't think they
WIZKID
should.
freestyle.
They'll just sound silly. It's a silly excuse because the pandemic
They raced at the
affected
same time.
everybody.
Everybody started
Yes,
racing.
everybody was in lockdown together.
Yeah.
David actually had time to sit down and create a BT.
In fact, David had time to travel as well.
Not even travel.
Private
To,
jet.
yeah, to even spend. No, apart from that, before he even had time to even travel, everybody was locked down for a while. He had the time to actually sit down with his family, relax, rest. All thanks to COVID, have a clear mind, and he came up with ABT. So it's not an excuse.
Okay, it is not an excuse, guys. Let's have your thoughts on that one. Davido, of course, TBO's getting into some sort of mood, and of course, Davido getting some support from TBO's. TBO say, Omo, if not for the pandemic, Davido, would have been, if not the biggest, at least, even it would have been the biggest African artist in 2020 to 2021. But let's have your thoughts on that one. Did it affect everybody, or it only affected just David? And of course, talking about the yes men around David's camp, what do you think about that as well? TV is saying cut 70% away of them away, and of course, stay on the right track. Let's have your thoughts on that one. Is this actually a response to the blowing of Essence at the moment? TV is already knowing that, he doesn't like WIZKID because of Tiwa Savage debacle. Let's put all our comments down below. We'll respond to some of them actually. Yeah, and we'll see you on the next one, guys. Please stay safe and God bless.